I got to thinking about a lot of things because I truly love a lot of things. I mean, I'm a huge Washington Redskins fan, and you really have to love the Redskins. It's been a terrible 2 decades. Terrible. And there's so many things, and I was trying to think, like, of course I had a first girlfriend who I think I thought I was in love with at the time. I mean, there's all those things. But I think when it comes down to it, my first love, other than me, I love myself. But other than that, I'm not going to get into that. That's like therapy sessions. But I think my first love, what it boils down to, is was my grandmother. I adored my grandmother. It's going to be tough. I don't really talk about this much. All right. Well, she would watch me every day after school, and she'd be with me after school until my parents got home. And then every weekend I would go to her house, and I just spent the whole weekend there. And I really, really enjoyed being around her. So much, and I mean, she did things for me that, you know, I would think like someone you love should be doing for you. Like, and I know I was young. I mean, I wasn't like, I didn't recognize that this was what it was. But I mean, I went to kindergarten, and I went to kindergarten early. I went when I was 4 instead of 5, and I walked in the first day. My grandmother brought me the first day of school, and they said to you, they said, "What's your favorite colored crayon?" And I said, "Pink." And I'm a boy, and I don't know if you can tell. And the teacher who's an educator, said, "Boys can't pick pink." And my grandmother said, "You will give him the crayon he chose." And that's that's the lady she was. And I mean, she was just a great lady, and she taught me so much. And this isn't to slight my parents. I love my parents, but I was much closer to my grandmother until she died. I was about 20 when she died, but much closer to her right up until her death than I was to my parents. And she taught me about just different things in life, and just different ways of doing things. She always had different methods of doing things, like and just like silliness. It would always be silly. Maybe it's making up different rules for a board game, or maybe it's just telling jokes. She loved to tell jokes, and I kind of do that for a living. Kind of. Not this is a side story, but I have a comedy group now, and I think a lot of my sense of humor is formed around my grandmother telling stupid jokes. One day she asked me, "Oh, did you hear about the antennas got married, the 2 antennas?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, they met on a rooftop. I mean, the wedding was crap, but the reception was great." And to me, that's funny when you're like 10. But she taught me about everything, and she even had a funny kind of way of talking too. I mean, she would say things that, looking back, make no sense. But if you say them now to one of your friends who's not here tonight, I guarantee you'll get like a weird laugh. She used to always say, "What would you rather do, or go fishing?" It makes no sense, right? It's hilarious if you think about it. I'll go first if you take the lead. That's and it's just she's just like it's like when I think back on different things, it's almost like it was like a movie. You ever watch a movie where there's like a really zany uncle who takes the kid in for a summer, and they have the summer of their life? And that's how my life was for 20 years. We would stay up till 4 a.m. playing poker, and for money, by the way. My would swindle me out of money. And the funny thing about her is she never let you win. It wasn't like, you play a game with your kids and you're like, oh, okay, you can win. I'm my grandma. And I'm the same way now. And I think the story that encapsulates her, the one story is, which I'll get to now that the belt is rung, is I was getting ready. First grade was that, I don't know who's ever gone to first grade before. It was killer. One of the days, it was early October. I can remember that. And they one of the assignments they gave us was to go memorize a poem at home. And by the way, I say poem because of my grandmother, because she used to yell if you said poem. It doesn't rhyme with home, so that's just a side note. But we had to memorize a poem and bring it into class. Worked all night with my grandmother. My grandmother stayed at my parents' house that night. We worked. She taught me the poem. I know the poem. I know it's going to work. This is going to be perfect. It teaches me this whole poem. We go through the whole thing. I'm reciting it, and we finally get it down. Next day, I wake up early. I'm ready to go to class. I'm so excited about this. I go in, I volunteer to go first, and they call me up to say Patrick Martin. And I get up in front of the class, and I say this poem, which I can still remember many years later. In days of old, when nights were bold, and toilets weren't invented, you could drop your load in the middle of the road and walk away contented. That is what a 75-year-old lady put inside a 5-year-old kid. And I'm forever grateful, and I love her, and even to this day, I know every time I even talk to my own kids, and we make up different rules for trouble. We're playing trouble, and we're making up our own rules. I know it's her. Like, I know that's the part of me, that's her. And I miss her every day since 1998, and she was my first love.